As tensions between China and Taiwan escalate, the specter of economic ramifications looms large over the region. According to a recent analysis by The Economist, any potential trade restrictions imposed by China on Taiwan could result in significant economic costs not only for Taiwan but also for China itself. This situation harkens back to a long history of trade relationships in the region where external powers have both influenced and been influenced by Taiwan's strategic economic position. Historically, Taiwan has been a focal point for trade, attracting various foreign powers from Portuguese explorers to Japanese colonizers. The island's largest port, Kaohsiung, continues to be a critical hub responsible for handling 57% of Taiwan's maritime trade. The fear that Chinese authorities might once again attempt to stifle Taiwan's international commerce has persisted through the years, underscoring the island's vital economic role. The dynamics of cross-strait trade are complex and fraught with geopolitical tension. A potential trade quarantine imposed by China could be strategically calibrated to minimize unintended consequences. However, such measures are likely to disrupt not only Taiwan's economy but also China's own economic stability. The ripple effects of such actions would be felt globally, affecting supply chains and international markets. As Taiwan continues to grapple with the threat of Chinese encroachment, recent military exercises by China have heightened concerns of a possible blockade. This development has led to growing apprehension among Taiwanese citizens regarding their ability to withstand pressure from their larger neighbor. The Trump administration's recent policies have also contributed to the island's anxieties, further complicating the geopolitical landscape. On the other side of the Pacific, the United States is facing its own economic challenges as President Trump's aggressive tariffs disrupt global trade patterns. A report from The Independent highlights a surge in U.S. imports as companies rush to bring goods into the country ahead of impending tariffs. This has resulted in a startling 40% increase in imports during the first quarter of 2025, raising the international trade deficit to a record high of $162 billion. Businesses across various sectors are scrambling to adapt to the new trade realities, with many altering their shipping schedules to avoid higher costs. This frantic pace has created uncertainty for U.S. businesses as they face the dual pressures of fluctuating tariffs and shifting consumer demand. Roger Lund, a Pennsylvania store owner, expressed his frustration, stating, "It is maddening as a business owner who relies on certainty to plan my budgets." Economists are sounding alarms over the implications of these import surges, suggesting that the U.S. economy may be heading toward a significant downturn. The gross domestic product (GDP) contracted by 0.3% in the first quarter, a stark contrast to the previous year's growth. Analysts warn that while businesses are stockpiling goods in anticipation of tariffs, this behavior may lead to an economic cliff once the urgency subsides. Amid these turbulent economic conditions, the Federal Reserve's upcoming policy meetings will be scrutinized for any indications on how trade policies may influence monetary decisions. As inflationary pressures mount due to tariffs, the Fed faces a precarious balancing act between stimulating growth and managing inflation expectations. Recent commentary from Fed officials suggests a reluctance to adjust interest rates in the immediate future. Yet concerns over the labor market and economic growth are prompting speculation about potential cuts later in the year. Looking ahead, the interplay between U.S.-China trade relations and Taiwan's economic stability remains uncertain. As both regions navigate their respective challenges, the potential for further escalation in trade tensions could have far-reaching consequences. The economic landscape is evolving rapidly, and stakeholders on both sides must remain vigilant as they adapt to these ongoing developments. The coming months will be crucial in determining the trajectory of trade relations and the broader impact on global markets. In a significant legal outcome reflecting ongoing issues of accountability within law enforcement, former Lansing Police Department Lieutenant Ryan Wilcox has been sentenced to 10 months of probation and ordered to pay $18,500 in restitution for embezzlement. This decision, rendered on May 1, 2025, follows Wilcox's no contest plea to a misdemeanor charge. which allows him to retain his full pension, a stipulation that would not have been possible had he faced felony charges. The investigation into Wilcox's conduct, which commenced in 2023, revealed a troubling pattern of behavior that included operating a lawn mowing business while being paid by the city. According to reports obtained from the Michigan State Police, Wilcox had been recorded multiple times retrieving his lawn care equipment from the police department's shooting range, all while ostensibly on duty. The evidence indicated that he submitted overtime hours he did not work, misused city resources for personal benefit, and even conducted unauthorized surveillance of personal acquaintances. During the sentencing, Judge Cynthia Ward noted Wilcox's acknowledgement of the rumors surrounding his actions but expressed concern about his apparent lack of remorse, a sentiment echoed by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Matthew Way. "I share the concerns that Mr. Way has stated," Judge Ward remarked, hinting at the broader implications of his misconduct not just for the police department but for community trust in law enforcement as a whole. In his brief address to the court, Wilcox stated, "I take full responsibility. I have learned from my mistakes and I want to move on from this." However, his words did little to assuage concerns regarding his accountability as prosecutors pressed for additional penalties, including time in jail. Ultimately, Judge Ward opted for probation and community service over incarceration, emphasizing the need for Wilcox to contribute positively to the community he had harmed through his actions. The fallout from this case is far from over. The Lansing Police Department has initiated an internal investigation to determine how Wilcox's transgressions went unreported for so long, raising questions about oversight and accountability within the department. Police Chief Rob Backus, who previously faced criticism for not acting on earlier reports about Wilcox's behavior, has committed to ensuring that employees are held to the highest standards. As the investigation unfolds, community members and officials alike are left grappling with the implications of Wilcox's actions. Mayor Andy Shore expressed confidence in the leadership of the Lansing Police Department to thoroughly investigate the circumstances surrounding this case, which has cast a shadow on the department's integrity. This case serves as a critical reminder of the importance of transparency and accountability within public service sectors. As the Lansing community awaits further developments, it underscores the pressing need for systemic reforms to prevent such breaches of trust in the future. The outcome of the ongoing investigation may have lasting repercussions not only for the individuals involved but for the broader relationship between law enforcement and the communities they serve. In an impressive display of creativity and commitment to high-quality storytelling, National Geographic has emerged as the front-runner in the nominations for the 2025 News and Documentary Emmys, garnering a staggering 46 nominations. This achievement was announced by the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, showcasing the network's dedication to impactful journalism and documentary filmmaking. Leading the charge for National Geographic is the acclaimed series Trafficked: Underworlds with Mariana Van Zeller, which alone secured 29 nominations across various categories, including Outstanding Recorded News Program and Outstanding Investigative News Coverage, long form. This deep dive into the complexities of trafficking has not only resonated with audiences but also established itself as a critical commentary on pressing global issues. Behind National Geographic in the nomination counter, PBS with 37 nominations, followed closely by CNN with 33 and ABC, bolstered by Hulu with 30. Notably, Univision led the Spanish-language outlets with 13 nominations. The impressive tally underscores a competitive landscape where diverse voices are recognized, showcasing the rich tapestry of news and documentary storytelling. Among the nominations, CBS's 60 Minutes received a nod in the Outstanding Edited Interview category for its segment featuring Vice President Kamala Harris. This particular interview has attracted significant attention due to its centrality in a lawsuit filed by former President Donald Trump, who alleges that the segment was edited in a misleading manner. The legal implications of this case highlight the ongoing tensions surrounding media portrayal and political narratives, making it a focal point in this year's awards. The 46th Annual News and Documentary Emmy Awards, which will be held in the summer instead of the traditional fall timeframe, reflect a shift in how the industry is adapting to changing viewer habits and the evolving media landscape. Scheduled for June 25 and 26 at the Palladium Times Square in New York City, the ceremonies will be streamed live, allowing a broader audience to engage with the celebration of journalistic excellence. NADA's president, CEO Adam Sharp expressed enthusiasm for this year's nominees, stating, "We are thrilled to recognize the extraordinary talent and relentless commitment of this year's nominees in a rapidly evolving media landscape. Their innovative storytelling and unwavering pursuit of truth continue to inspire and inform audiences worldwide." The nominations this year were derived from over 2,200 submissions, with a judging panel composed of more than 980 industry professionals from across the television and streaming sectors. This rigorous selection process ensures that the most compelling and impactful stories are honored, further highlighting the significance of the Emmys in celebrating journalistic integrity and creativity. As the awards approach, the focus will remain on the stories that have shaped public discourse over the past year. The competition promises to be fierce, with standout entries across categories such as Outstanding Live News Program, Outstanding Investigative News Coverage, and Outstanding Documentary. With emerging voices and established names alike vying for recognition, the 2025 News and Documentary Emmys will undoubtedly serve as a testament to the power of storytelling in an era marked by rapid change and challenge. Looking ahead, the evolving nature of news consumption and the increasing prominence of digital platforms suggest that the future of documentary storytelling will continue to innovate and adapt. As National Geographic and its peers strive to engage audiences with critical issues, the potential for impactful narratives remains vast, paving the way for the next generation of storytellers to push boundaries and redefine the landscape of journalism. In a striking turn of events for the tech sector, Microsoft and Meta have reported impressive first-quarter earnings, leading to a significant surge in their stock prices. The positive financial results reflect a broader trend of resilience among major tech firms despite ongoing challenges, including rising tariffs and global economic fluctuations. This surge not only underscores the robust performance of these companies but also raises questions about the sustainability of their growth in a volatile market. Microsoft's latest earnings report highlighted a 15% increase in revenue year-over-year, driven primarily by its cloud services and enterprise software solutions. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, emphasized the company's commitment to innovation, stating, "Our investments in cloud infrastructure and AI have positioned us to deliver sustained growth and value to our customers." This sentiment was echoed by analysts, who noted that Microsoft's Azure cloud platform continues to attract significant business, further solidifying its competitive edge. Similarly, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, reported a remarkable 20% increase in revenue, largely attributable to a resurgence in advertising spend as businesses recover from the pandemic's economic impact. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's CEO, remarked, "We are seeing an increasing number of advertisers returning to our platforms as they recognize the value of reaching our global audience. This growth comes as Meta refines its advertising technology and expands into the metaverse, which investors view as a promising avenue for future revenue." However, both companies face potential headwinds that could impact their trajectories. Tariffs imposed on technology imports, particularly from China, have raised concerns among investors about rising operational costs. Analysts suggest that these tariffs could squeeze profit margins if companies are unable to pass the costs on to consumers. A recent report from the Economic Policy Institute indicated that tariffs could increase costs for American tech firms by up to 8%, which would significantly affect profitability. As the tech landscape evolves, the interplay between earnings growth and external challenges will be crucial for Microsoft and Meta. Market observers are keenly watching how both companies navigate these complexities. The earnings reports serve as a reminder of the tech sector's resilience, but also highlight the need for strategic foresight in an unpredictable economic environment. Looking ahead, the focus will likely shift to how these tech giants adapt to potential regulatory changes and global economic uncertainties. Investors will be particularly interested in any strategic shifts that Microsoft and Meta may announce in response to tariff implications and other external pressures. As the tech industry continues to innovate and expand, the coming quarters will reveal whether these companies can maintain their upward momentum amidst the challenges that lie ahead. Recent research has shed light on a troubling trend. Ultra-processed foods (UPFs) are not only linked to chronic diseases but may also be a significant contributor to premature deaths. This alarming revelation comes at a time when the consumption of such foods is at an all-time high, prompting urgent calls from health officials and researchers alike to reconsider dietary choices. In a comprehensive study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, researchers analyzed data from 8 countries: Australia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Their findings indicated that for every 10% increase in the proportion of UPFs in a person's diet, the risk of all-cause mortality rises by 3%. In the United States, where UPF consumption is particularly prevalent, it is estimated that these foods contribute to as many as 124,000 premature deaths annually, accounting for approximately 14% of deaths in the 30 to 69 age group. Lead investigator Eduardo Augusto Fernandez Nilsson emphasized that the health impacts of UPFs extend beyond their content of sodium, sugars, and trans fats. UPFs affect health beyond the individual impact of high content of sodium, trans fats, and sugar because of the changes in the foods during industrial processing and the use of artificial ingredients, he explained. This underscores the need for a broader examination of the long-term effects of industrial food processing on overall health. Despite the study not pinpointing individual food items, previous research has identified certain UPFs that are particularly harmful. Processed meats, sugary beverages, dairy-based desserts, and ultra-processed breakfast cereals emerged as the most significant contributors to increased mortality risk. Notably, individuals with diets high in these foods exhibited a 4% greater risk of all-cause mortality and an 8% increased risk of death from neurodegenerative diseases compared to those consuming fewer UPFs. As the conversation around diet and health evolves, public figures including U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. have begun championing the cause of reducing UPF consumption. Kennedy has argued that foods containing more than 5 ingredients should be viewed with caution, labeling them as primary contributors to the epidemic of chronic diseases in America. The implications of this research are profound, not only for individual health but also for public health policy. With the growing body of evidence linking UPFs to serious health risks, there is a pressing need for educational initiatives aimed at promoting healthier food choices. The challenge lies in balancing consumer demand for convenience with the necessity for nutritional quality. Looking ahead, the focus will likely shift towards creating more robust dietary guidelines that prioritize minimally processed foods. Public health campaigns may also begin to emphasize the importance of whole foods, aiming to reduce the overall prevalence of UPFs in the average diet. As consumers become increasingly aware of these dangers, the hope is that they will make more informed choices, fostering a healthier future for all. In the ever-evolving landscape of corporate governance, the dynamics between shareholders and executive leadership often highlight a company's underlying power structure. A recent analysis by Bloomberg underscores a critical observation regarding Tesla's board of directors: the prioritization of CEO Elon Musk's interests over those of the shareholders. This revelation comes to light amid a broader conversation about accountability and transparency in one of the world's most high-profile companies. Tesla, known for its innovative electric vehicles and ambitious sustainability goals, has been navigating a tumultuous period marked by fluctuating stock prices and increasing scrutiny from investors. As of May 2025, the company's shares have experienced significant volatility, prompting shareholders to raise concerns about the decision-making processes at the highest levels of the organization. Musk, who has been at the helm since Tesla's inception, remains a polarizing figure. While his visionary leadership has propelled the company into a leadership position within the automotive industry, it has also sparked debates about governance and fiduciary responsibility. A key point of contention lies in the board's composition and its ability to challenge Musk's decisions. According to experts, a board that is overly aligned with Musk may lack the necessary independence to advocate for shareholder interests effectively. The board's primary duty is to act in the best interest of the shareholders, but in Tesla's case, there's a clear indication that Musk's vision often takes precedence, noted corporate governance analyst Sarah Thompson. This sentiment reflects a growing call for a more balanced approach to leadership that considers the financial well-being of all stakeholders. Recent shareholder meetings have seen increasing pushback regarding decisions perceived as risky or misaligned with shareholder interests. For instance, Musk's focus on ambitious projects such as the expansion into new markets and investments in cutting-edge technology, while laudable, has raised alarms among investors wary of short-term profitability. While innovation is essential, it cannot come at the expense of financial stability, commented investment strategist James Lee. This perspective is shared by many who advocate for a more cautious approach that prioritizes immediate returns alongside long-term growth. The implications of this governance structure extend beyond Tesla's immediate financial performance. As the electric vehicle market continues to mature, the company's ability to maintain investor confidence will be crucial. A failure to address these concerns could result in significant repercussions, including potential declines in stock value and increased pressure from activist investors eager to influence company direction. Looking ahead, the stakes are high for Tesla as it navigates this complex landscape. Stakeholders will be watching closely to see how the board addresses these governance challenges and whether it can strike a balance between Musk's innovative vision and the financial expectations of its shareholders. As the electric vehicle sector becomes increasingly competitive, the outcomes of these dynamics may shape not only Tesla's future but also set precedents for corporate governance and the tech-driven economy. Ultimately, the road ahead for Tesla will require a re-evaluation of its governance framework to ensure that shareholder interests are not merely an afterthought in the pursuit of innovation. As the company moves forward, it will be essential for the board to assert its independence and prioritize transparency, fostering a culture that values both visionary leadership and shareholder accountability. In an era where the intersection of politics and science is increasingly contentious, recent developments surrounding U.S. government scrutiny of medical journals have ignited serious concerns about academic freedom and the integrity of scientific discourse. A leaked letter from the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Edward R. Martin Jr., to the editor-in-chief of CHEST, a prominent medical journal, has revealed an alarming trend of governmental overreach into the realms of research and publication. This letter, which questioned the journal's editorial practices and alleged partisanship without citing specific examples or legal grounds, is part of a broader campaign to exert control over scientific inquiry and to intimidate researchers who do not align with certain political ideologies. The implications of this letter extend far beyond CHEST. Reports indicate that at least 4 other esteemed journals, including the New England Journal of Medicine, received similar correspondence, raising fears among editors about potential retribution from the current administration. The climate of fear is palpable as many editors hesitate to speak out against these tactics, aware that dissent could jeopardize their careers and the integrity of their journals. As Eric Reinhardt, a political anthropologist, argues, this strategy is not a mere political stunt, it represents a concerted effort to suppress scientific evidence and discourse that challenges the prevailing narratives favored by the administration. This worrying trend reflects a wider ideological battle that has taken root within the American scientific community, particularly under the influence of figures like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has vocally criticized mainstream scientific consensus on issues such as vaccination and climate change. His calls for creating alternative journals to publish pseudoscientific claims have further compounded the crisis, signaling a willingness to undermine established scientific norms in favor of political expedience. Historically, the relationship between medicine and the state has been fraught with ethical dilemmas, as evidenced by past injustices like forced sterilizations and the marginalization of certain populations. The current administration's actions appear to be a continuation of this troubling legacy. with a marked intention to silence voices that advocate for marginalized communities. Reinhardt emphasizes that silence in the face of such intimidation is not neutrality, it is complicity. The medical establishment must rally together to defend academic freedom and ensure that scientific inquiry remains unfettered by political ideologies. As this situation unfolds, it raises crucial questions about the future of scientific research in the United States. The potential ramifications include a chilling effect on the publication of critical research, particularly in fields addressing social disparities and public health issues. If journal editors and researchers do not take a stand against this intimidation, they risk not only their professional integrity but also the welfare of the communities that rely on unbiased evidence-based medical research. Amidst this backdrop, a survey conducted by social psychologists at the University of Amsterdam has revealed a shocking decline in trust in science among American conservatives. The study found that conservatives are increasingly skeptical of scientific professions, particularly those whose findings conflict with their political beliefs. This growing distrust poses a significant challenge for addressing pressing societal issues such as climate change and public health crises, which require robust public consensus and cooperation across the political spectrum. The convergence of governmental pressure on scientific journals and the public's waning trust in science underscores a critical juncture for the American scientific enterprise. As the landscape of research funding and publication becomes ever more precarious, the need for a united front in defense of scientific integrity has never been more urgent. The call to action is clear: researchers, journal editors, and academic institutions must engage in coordinated efforts to uphold the principles of academic freedom and rigor in the face of rising authoritarianism. Looking ahead, it is imperative that the scientific community not only confronts these challenges head-on but also actively works to rebuild public trust in science. This includes transparent communication about the scientific process and the societal benefits of research, particularly in an era characterized by misinformation and skepticism. The future of American science depends on a commitment to truth and ethical inquiry free from the shackles of political influence. Failure to address these issues may result in a diminished scientific landscape with profound consequences for public health and welfare in the years to come. In a remarkable intersection of literature and nature, best-selling author Emmy has turned her attention to the avian world, unveiling her new book, The Backyard Bird Chronicles, which has been selected as the September 2025 feature for the California Book Club. This illustrated journal is not just a reflection of Tan's artistic prowess but a deeply personal exploration of her relationship with the birds that inhabit her backyard, offering readers a unique glimpse into the life of a celebrated novelist who sought solace in nature during turbulent times. The genesis of the Backyard Bird Chronicles can be traced back to 2016, a year marked by rising societal tensions and personal challenges for Tan, best known for her acclaimed works such as The Joy Luck Club. Unable to drive and feeling increasingly isolated, she found refuge in the simple yet profound act of observing birds. Over 5 years, her nature journaling evolved into an obsession, capturing not only her observations but also her artistic interpretations through colored pencil drawings. The book features detailed entries that chronicle her journey of discovery among California's avian species, including scrub jays, oak titmice, and great horned owls. As ornithologist David Allen Sibley aptly notes in the book's introduction, Tan's observations transform these birds into vibrant characters, each with their own stories and dramas. The entries spanning from 2017 to 2022 reflect Tan's growing knowledge and curiosity about the intricacies of bird behavior, evoking a sense of wonder and humor that resonates throughout the pages. This intimate narrative serves as both a personal diary and an artistic expression, showcasing Tan's ability to connect with the natural world in a way that is both relatable and insightful. In conjunction with the book's release, Tan will engage in a conversation with literary figure John Freeman on September 18, 2025. This event promises to be a captivating discussion, allowing audiences to hear firsthand from Tan about her creative process and the inspirations behind her work. The conversation will be accessible via Zoom, reflecting the modern shift towards virtual engagements that enable broader participation in literary discourse. The Backyard Bird Chronicles not only promises to enrich the literary landscape but also highlights the therapeutic benefits of nature journaling, particularly in times of distress. Tan's journey resonates with many who find solace in the natural world, reminding us of the healing power of creativity and observation. As readers delve into Tan's reflections, they are invited to consider their own connections with nature and the stories that unfold within their surroundings. As the publication date approaches, anticipation builds for what promises to be a profound exploration of the relationship between humanity and the natural world. Tan's ability to weave personal narrative with artistic expression sets the stage for a compelling read that is sure to inspire both avid birdwatchers and literary enthusiasts alike. With the Backyard Bird Chronicles, Tan not only shares her passion for birds but also encourages a deeper appreciation for the everyday wonders that often go unnoticed. As we look to the future, it will be fascinating to see how this work influences both her readership and the ongoing dialogue about the importance of nature in our lives. In the constantly evolving landscape of workplace dynamics, new research from the Harvard Business Review reveals a paradoxical phenomenon. When employees exert extra effort to enhance their productivity, they may inadvertently hinder their overall performance. This study, conducted by leading scholars Mana El-Mansouri, Caroline Strauss, and Doris Fay, sheds light on the nuanced relationship between proactivity and job effectiveness. The research begins with a relatable scenario for many professionals. Consider a salesperson who notices that prospective clients frequently have repeated questions, delaying the contracting process. In an effort to streamline operations, the salesperson spends considerable time developing a comprehensive FAQ list to address these queries upfront. However, the study suggests that such proactive initiatives can lead to mental fatigue, diminishing focus on other critical tasks. El-Mansouri, an assistant professor of organizational behavior, underscores that while initiative is often celebrated, it doesn't always yield positive outcomes. The intention to improve can sometimes create a cognitive overload, leading to diminished performance in other areas, she explains. This finding resonates with many employees who may feel overwhelmed by the demands of their roles, particularly when they take it upon themselves to innovate or improve existing processes. The implications of this research are particularly significant for organizations aiming to foster a culture of innovation. As Strauss, a professor of management, points out, while proactivity can lead to positive change, it is essential to balance this with the well-being of employees to prevent burnout. The challenge lies in encouraging employees to take initiative without succumbing to the pressure that can accompany such efforts. Fay, a full professor of work and organizational psychology, adds a critical dimension to this conversation, noting that the emotional toll of striving for improvement can lead to counterproductive outcomes. Organizations must cultivate environments that support not only innovation but also mental health, she emphasizes. This approach aligns with broader trends in workplace wellness, where the focus is increasingly on the holistic well-being of employees. As businesses grapple with the implications of this research, the need for strategic support systems becomes clear. Employers should consider implementing training programs that equip employees with tools to manage their workload effectively, thereby mitigating the risk of overexertion. Additionally, fostering open communication channels can allow employees to express concerns about workload and seek assistance when needed. Looking ahead, the findings from this study prompt critical questions about the future of work. As teams become increasingly collaborative and innovation-driven, understanding the balance between proactivity and performance will be essential. Organizations must prioritize creating supportive environments that empower employees to take initiative while safeguarding their mental health and overall productivity. In conclusion, as the workplace continues to evolve, the research from El-Mansouri, Strauss, and Fay serves as a timely reminder that while ambition and innovation are vital to success, they must be tempered with an awareness of employee well-being. The challenge for leaders will be to inspire proactivity without compromising the mental resilience of their teams, thereby ensuring sustainable productivity and fostering a healthier work environment for all. In a world where public health and technological advancements are increasingly intertwined, recent discussions around vaccination rates and innovative medical technologies have become critical. As concerns about declining vaccination rates rise, particularly in the context of measles outbreaks, the role of influential figures and emerging technologies is coming into sharper focus. The United States once celebrated the elimination of measles in the year 2000, but the landscape has dramatically shifted in recent years. With a significant increase in measles cases reported in 2025, 800 cases by April alone, compared to just 285 for all of 2024, the urgency of the vaccination conversation has intensified. This resurgence is attributed to a notable decline in vaccination rates, which have dipped from 95% to 93%. While this may seem like a minor decrease, public health experts warn that it poses a severe risk given the highly contagious nature of measles. On a recent episode of Wired's podcast Uncanny Valley, hosts Michael Cowler, Lauren Good, and Katie Drummond delved into these alarming trends. They highlighted the role of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Secretary of Health and Human Services, in shaping public perception around vaccinations. With a history of promoting vaccine skepticism, Kennedy's influence raises questions about the future of public health in America. Kennedy has been leading the charge against vaccinations for decades, Drummond noted, emphasizing the potential consequences of his rhetoric. Research from Stanford University further underscores the gravity of the situation, projecting that if current vaccination rates persist, measles could become endemic in the U.S. within 2 decades. The implications are dire. The study estimates upwards of 850,000 cases and thousands of hospitalizations and deaths could occur over the next 25 years if corrective actions are not taken. This predictive modeling serves as a stark warning, emphasizing the need for immediate public health initiatives to boost vaccination rates and restore community immunity. In addition, the conversation around vaccination intersects with broader issues of trust in the medical community and public health infrastructure. The dismantling of public health agencies and funding cuts under the current administration have raised alarms among health experts. As Drummond remarked, we are witnessing a rapid dismantling of HHS and all the agencies that work underneath it. Such changes not only threaten vaccination programs but also jeopardize vital healthcare services, especially for vulnerable populations. As the public grapples with vaccine hesitancy and misinformation, technological innovations are also making headlines. The launch of Sam Altman's eye-scanning orb by his startup Tools for Humanity represents an ambitious attempt to address identity verification challenges in an era of rampant online fraud. Set to debut in the U.S. in May 2025, this device scans users' irises and stores their information on the blockchain, aiming to provide an authentic means of identity verification. The company plans to open multiple physical locations for scanning, much like Apple stores, to facilitate this process. Altman's initiative reflects a growing trend toward integrating technology into everyday life, particularly in combating the challenges posed by artificial intelligence and digital scams. However, privacy advocates remain concerned about the implications of biometric data collection, especially given the scrutiny the company has faced in other countries. Moreover, the oil and gas industry is also witnessing a technological renaissance. Companies like SLB are introducing electric well control technologies that replace traditional hydraulic systems, promising improvements in efficiency, safety, and environmental impact. The advent of electric-powered equipment signifies a shift towards more sustainable practices within the sector, offering real-time data insights and minimizing operational complexities. As these narratives unfold, they converge to present a complex picture of the intersection between public health technology and societal trust. The path forward is fraught with challenges, but it is also filled with opportunities for innovation and reform. In an era marked by misinformation and skepticism, the future of health and safety will depend significantly on our ability to navigate these waters with clarity and integrity. As we look ahead, it is imperative that public health initiatives not only adapt to the challenges posed by declining vaccination rates but also harness the potential of emerging technologies to foster a healthier society. In a notable development that reflects the evolving geopolitical landscape, the United States and Ukraine have forged a new partnership aimed at accessing Ukraine's rich mineral resources. This agreement, officially known as the United States-Ukraine Reinvestment Fund, was signed yesterday by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko. The deal comes at a critical juncture as the U.S. seeks to maintain its military aid to Ukraine amid ongoing peace negotiations with Russia, particularly under the administration of President Donald Trump, who has expressed skepticism about unbounded support for Kyiv. The agreement, though shrouded in some ambiguity regarding its specifics, is seen as a strategic move to solidify U.S. interests in the region while also ensuring a shared commitment towards a stable and prosperous Ukraine. President Trump saw this partnership as a reflection of both nations' dedication to long-term peace and prosperity in Ukraine, Bessent remarked, emphasizing the partnership's significance. The deal is designed to allow the U.S. to invest in the extraction of vital resources such as oil, gas, titanium, uranium, and rare earth minerals, with profits from these ventures split between the two nations. Analysts regard the agreement as a potential win-win scenario, not only underscoring America's vested interest in Ukraine's mineral wealth but also addressing Trump's concerns about the nature of U.S. financial support to Ukraine. However, some experts caution that the success of this initiative hinges on attracting private investment during a time of war, a challenge that could complicate the execution of the partnership. In tandem with this agreement, the Trump Organization has recently finalized a real estate deal in the Middle East. This venture, involving a golf course project in collaboration with a firm owned by the Qatari government, illustrates the administration's ongoing engagement in global business dealings, particularly as Trump prepares for a state visit to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. While this development may bolster Trump's financial interests, it also raises questions about the potential intertwining of personal and national agendas as he navigates his role as both a businessman and a president. On the broader international stage, tensions continue to mount following the assassination of Kenyan opposition member Charles Ong'ondo, reflecting the precarious political climate in various regions. Meanwhile, South Korean prosecutors have indicted former President Yoon Suk Yeol for abuse of authority, further complicating the political landscape in the region. As the U.S. military plans a significant overhaul of its operations, increasing its reliance on drone technology, the implications of these shifts are expected to resonate well beyond U.S. borders. Drawing lessons from the conflict in Ukraine, the military is poised to adapt its strategies, which may redefine how it engages in future conflicts. Amidst these developments, the legal landscape in the U.S. is also evolving. A federal judge recently rejected an early release request for a former FBI informant tied to the ongoing investigations surrounding Hunter Biden, spotlighting the contentious atmosphere surrounding Trump-era policies and their implications for civil liberties and judicial proceedings. As the U.S. and Ukraine step into this new partnership, the global community watches closely, aware that the outcomes could significantly influence geopolitical dynamics, especially concerning Russia. The deal represents more than just an economic arrangement. It symbolizes a commitment to shared values of sovereignty and free enterprise in the face of external pressures. The future remains uncertain, yet the strategic implications of this agreement could reverberate for years to come, shaping the discourse around U.S. foreign policy and its approach to international partnerships amidst an ever-shifting global landscape. In the depths of the icy waters surrounding Greenland, a remarkable creature defies the conventional limits of longevity: the Greenland shark. Recent research reveals that these extraordinary sharks can live for nearly 400 years without exhibiting the typical signs of aging, particularly concerning their eyesight. This astonishing finding not only challenges established notions about aging in vertebrates but also opens new avenues for understanding genetic adaptations and their implications for other species, including humans. A study led by Lily Fogg and her team at the University of Basel, Switzerland, undertook an in-depth examination of the eyes of 8 deceased Greenland sharks, Somniosus microcephalus. Their physical analyses coupled with DNA sequencing unveiled that the sharks showed no signs of retinal degeneration, a condition often associated with aging in many animal species. This is particularly intriguing given that some scientists had previously speculated that these sharks might be functionally blind due to their habitat in the dark depths of the North Atlantic. Fogg emphasized the significance of these findings, stating, "Our research indicates that Greenland sharks have developed unique genetic adaptations that allow them to maintain their visual acuity over centuries. The lack of retinal deterioration raises compelling questions about the underlying mechanisms that enable such remarkable longevity and resilience. The implications of this research extend beyond the realm of marine biology. Understanding how Greenland sharks preserve their eyesight could provide insights into human age-related eye diseases. As our understanding of the genetic factors at play deepens, there may be potential applications in developing treatments for conditions like macular degeneration, which affects millions of people worldwide. Moreover, this discovery highlights the importance of studying unique species like the Greenland shark to inform broader scientific inquiries, as these sharks inhabit some of the most extreme environments on Earth. They serve as a natural laboratory for exploring evolutionary adaptations that could one day influence human health practices and longevity research. As we look to the future, the ongoing investigation into the genetic and physiological traits of Greenland sharks may usher in new strategies for enhancing human health and longevity. With climate change and environmental pressures threatening marine ecosystems, preserving the habitats of such remarkable species will be crucial for continuing this line of inquiry. The secrets held within the depths of the ocean may yet reveal transformative insights that enrich our understanding of life, aging, and the intricate tapestry of biological resilience.